Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 17. You may have noticed that we've actually gone ahead and put Rod back in the PC for now. And the reason for that is because I wanted to get out both Ghastly and Geodude just to train them up a little, like we discussed in the last episode. And I also want to keep Magmar and our egg here to help it hatch faster. I did do some bicycling around Eggerteak City before the episode started, so that got quite a bit of XP on it. So as you can see, it appears to move occasionally and may be close to hatching. I think there's one more stage after that and then it actually hatches. So at least that way we won't have to wait quite as long. Now there is two more cool things to do here in the town. Let's do one of them first, and then the other one we might come back and do once we're back to using our normal team of Pokemon. First is Tin Tower, which apparently is a lot different than what I remember it being. Past here is the Bell Tower. This tower was built as a place of rest for Ho-Oh, the legendary flying-type Pokemon. Since Ho-Oh left, many people have gone up to the tower to try to bring it back, but none have succeeded in making Ho-Oh appear. Morty, the gym leader, is one who has tried. I see. That's the Eggerteak Gym badge. The badge alone will not do any good though, but I can let you through. Please, go on. Alright, so you can explore Tin Tower at this stage in the game, at least up to a point. But, you can't fight Ho-Oh. So he's just talking about the two Pokemon, Ho-Oh and Lugia. And I believe you can only encounter Ho in this game. Lugia is the equivalent in Soul Silver. Oh, so we need the Rainbow Wing. And he says the Kimono Girls might know something about it. But I don't think you can get the Rainbow Wing at this stage in the game. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's not until like after the 7th gym badge, when the main plot really ramps up. But at least we can check out this area now. This is a really cool zone. Look at all the leaves. Very appropriate for a tower dedicated to Ho-Oh. It's just called Bell Tower, but I think it's actually called the Tin Tower, if I'm not mistaken. There's some statues to the mythical bird Pokemon. So many people have gone up the tower with a Rainbow Wing to try to bring back Ho-Oh, but none succeeded. The Rainbow Wing is merely to permit you to go up this tower. What Ho-Oh has longed for is the invisible trust between people and Pokemon, or the person who can restore such a relationship. So it looks like we actually can't go any further than this. I'm not sure what the whole point is of letting us pass the gate guard then. Yeah. And I don't think there are even any wild Pokemon in this floor. Oh well, we tried. I like how this tower is built very similarly to the Bellsprout Tower. Kind of makes you think that the region has like a common architecture and a common engineering. Once again, makes it seem more like Johto is a real place. Or at least a little more realistic place. Alright, well, that was the Bell Tower, or Tin Tower. Excuse me. I figured we had to at least stop and see that before we left Eggerteak. We will come back and do a few really cool battles here, and talk to the aforementioned Kimono Girls, but first I'd like to do just a little bit more training, and get our Geodude and Ghastly to evolve. This is a Sailor. That could be bad for a Geodude. They tend to use Fighting and Water Pokemon, which are both really good against Rock types. He is a Wooper. Wooper's pretty cool. Not sure if I ever trained Wooper or not. They're not that great, but they are a pretty cool Pokemon. They evolve into Quagsire. Also a kind of interesting Pokemon. So Rock attacks are not good against ground types. Wooper is actually Water and Ground type, which is a really good type combination. It's only weak to Grass, even though it does have a 4 times weakness, because the Ground type cancels out the normal weakness to Electricity. Swampert, the Gen 3 starter, is actually the exact same type, and is a bit more formidable of a Pokemon than Wooper and Quagsire. I actually like Swampert a lot. It's one of my favorite starters. We may or may not use one in my next Let's Play. You'll just have to stick around and find out. Okay, luckily that Quagsire, or that Wooper did not use any water or ground attacks, so our Geodude was okay. And who are you? Are you good at Pokemon? If you're really good, I want you to teach me some things. Well, I will certainly do my best. Sometimes the best way to learn is by battling. Okay, Flaffy. Flaffy is an electric type. That reminds me, one thing that's really cool about Magby is that for a baby type Pokemon, it's actually not weak at all. It's actually very, very strong. It has about the same base stat level as Flaffy or Nidorino, or a lot of other really cool semi-powerful Pokemon. It's only a little bit behind like Charmeleon and Ivysaur and the other stage 2 of the starters. Psyduck is a water type, so this could be bad if it knows like Water Gun. Let's use Magnitude. Oh, that sucks that it's faster, because now I can't use Magnitude. Waste of a turn. Luckily, my Rock type moves will be normally effective against it. Magnitude is a ground type attack, and it does a random amount of damage. It's kind of based on the idea of earthquakes. I'm not sure what it can vary between. But like a Magnitude 6 attack does 60 base power damage. Magnitude 8 would do 80 base power, etc. Overall, though, Earthquake is a lot more consistent and usually more powerful. So even though Confusion isn't super effective and Psyduck doesn't get stabbed, Geodude's special defense is not nearly as good as its defenses. So it is taking a decent amount of damage. Rollout is a move that I actually must have misremembered, because apparently Whitney's Miltank does have Rollout in both generations, but never had Defense Curl. That was a good strategy, but not when you actually faced here. Maybe that was in Pokemon Stadium? Alright, Geodude's evolving. I'm pretty sure it's level 25 that Graveler can start evolving. And if I'm not mistaken, Machoke and Haunter are the same level, and Kadabra is level like 16 though, or maybe 20. I used to know all this, but not anymore. So she's going to give me items that other boys gave to her as gifts. That's a little odd, but okay. Alright, so our Graveler is evolved. That's pretty cool, but it actually does make you sound very ungrateful. So we probably won't use it much more. We can evolve into Golem. Well, we could if I trade it and trade it back. Maybe I will someday, but not today. Today we're going to switch to Ghastly, and this is kind of unfortunate because he's now blocking the route, so I have to go back through the grass if I want to go any further. School Kid. Mr. Mime. Okay, Mr. Mime is a Psychic type. It later becomes Psychic and Fairy type, which I always forget. So this would be a really good Pokemon to use one of my Dark type attacks against. I'm afraid though that it might use like Barrier or something. Mr. Mime could know Confusion, which would be super effective against Ghastly, so in that case I'd want to use Sucker Punch. Let's use Sucker Punch. It didn't work because he's going to use Mimic. And I think that makes him learn Sucker Punch. Oh, that's not good, because Sucker Punch is good against Ghastly too. Luckily I'm faster, so my Sucker Punch should go first. Alright. Neither of us gets Stab. But I think Ghastly has lower defense. Oh, it failed. Interesting. I guess Sucker Punch only works if it goes first. That's kind of cool. It only has 5 power points, so you could easily stall it out. Kind of becomes a guessing game. Alright, I didn't study enough, I guess, so we do need at least one more battle before we can evolve. He wants my number 2, sure. So, even though a lot of Ghost Pokemon can learn Dark-type attacks, and vice versa, I wouldn't recommend teaching a Pokemon both a Dark-type move and a Ghost-type move, because they have very, very similar type coverage. They're both good against Psychic and Ghost types, and nothing else. And they're both resisted by Steel types up until Generation 6. And what else are they both not good against? They're both not good against Dark types. The only real difference between them is that Ghost type moves do not affect normal types, whereas Dark type moves are evenly effective against them. And Dark type moves are not very effective against fighting types, whereas Ghost types are even. So I was kind of debating whether or not to teach, or whether to teach our Heracross Night Slash, which it now knows, or Shadow Claw, which it now knows, or Night Slash, which it can learn later on. One is Ghost type, one is Dark type. It doesn't get stabbed from either. But if Heracross is a fighting type and it knows a fighting type move, a Ghost move pairs a lot better with a fighting type move. Because if you had a... the only time where Ghost is better than Dark is... sorry, the only time where Dark is better than Ghost is against a normal type Pokemon. And against a normal type Pokemon, you can just use a fighting type move anyway. So in that case, Ghost is better. And speaking of Ghosts, it is time for Ghastly to evolve as well. A lot of evolution this episode. I'm not sure if any of our other Pokemon will evolve. Heracross is already in its final stage. It can Mega Evolve in later generations, but not in this one. I don't think Bayleaf is going to evolve for a little while yet. And Togekiss will only evolve when I use the Shiny Stone. I'm not going to use that till like maybe around the 7th gym or so, or maybe right before the 8th gym. That kind of feels like a more fair time to use it. Alright, I did take away their Oran Berries because I want to save those for a real team, but that was kind of cool getting these guys trained up. Let's go ahead. I'll keep them in our party maybe for the rest of the episode while we explore this route. Have I faced her yet? I don't think I have. And then maybe I'll go back and switch to our normal team again. And hopefully we can hatch Magby this episode. There's the Quick Claw. And that way I can train it up between this episode and the next one. That would be ideal. Because next episode I want to face the Kimono Girls in Ecruteak City, which is a series of really fun fights. And that should be a lot of fun. Some might even say it's as fun or even more fun than gym battle. I wouldn't say that necessarily, but failing gym battles, it's the next best fight. The next best series of fights. It's kind of like the Fighting Dojo almost, except better. But since we just had a gym battle, let's kind of spread out our fun battles, and we'll save that until the next episode. Alright, Beauty Valerie has a Hoppip. This would be a good Pokemon to train our Magby against if we had one. Alright, very nice. And a Skiploom, that is the evolved form of Hoppip. It is also a grass and flying type. Let's use Metronome. I'm keeping it to use it, right? Might as well use it while we can. Body Slam, so we get Stab. It's a good normal type attack. Possibly my favorite normal type attack. And you can see why. It's 85 base power, so even though Olive has a low attack stat, it still did a lot of damage. There's the Quick Claw again, and what do we get? Eruption. Ooh, that's a very powerful fire type attack, I think. Kind of looks like rock type, but I think it's fire type, so that should definitely want to KO Skiploom. I think Eruption is the equivalent of Water Spout, and does more damage the more health you have, up to a base power of 150. So for any Pokemon that can learn it, it is a very powerful fire type move. This might not have been the best way to go. Alright, you know what? Now that we've seen a good variety of Pokemon here, or at least a couple Raticates, I'm going to use a Repel. Because I think our Pokemon are already at a very high level for this stage in the game. This game does not seem to have a very steep level curve. I don't want to get too overpowered, so let's get that Apricot while we're here. And this Helium as well. Max Potion, that could come in handy. But again, only between battles. Oh, we haven't faced this person yet. Looks like a Bird Keeper. Fly high into the sky, my beloved bird Pokemon. Yep, I think I might be right. Alright, Bird Keeper Toby. So even though this might not be a hugely exciting episode, or at least first half of an episode plot-wise, what I really love about Pokemon, and what I think is key to its success, is that it's almost like having two games in one. Lunar Dance. I think that's Cresselia's move. Oh, it is. It's like self-destruct, and it fully heals the next Pokemon you send in is what it does. So I could send in Graveler for the full heal, but I really don't want to train up Graveler anymore. What the heck, let's do it just for fun. The game is about having fun, right? And our Pokemon are already at a pretty good level. And there we go. So it's kind of a more beneficial version of self-destruct. Not the move you want to go for when you use Metronome, though. So as I was saying, what I like about this game is that it's almost 2 games in one. You have the one game, which is the main plot, facing the gym leaders, becoming Pokemon League champion, and the other game, which is actually like raising a team of Pokemon. And both are done really well. Like I feel like even if you could only have like the same 6 Pokemon every playthrough, it would still be a pretty fun game, defeating the gym leaders and training them up. But the fact there's this whole second game that you can have any Pokemon you want to out of any 250, out of the whole 250. So even if either half of the game wasn't as good, it would still be a pretty decent game. But the fact that both halves are so great that there's a lot of variety to the gym leaders Pokemon, they have personalities, and there's a lot of strategy to the fights. It really makes it a really, really compelling series. You could even argue that it's 3 games. There's the plot facing the gym leaders and the Pokemon League. There's the plot with the enemy team in each game, which is usually integrated with the legendary Pokemon from that game. And then there's, of course, training your own team into the squad that you're eventually going for. Alright, Apricorn Tree. White Apricorn, pretty sure we already have some of those, so that's not that useful. Alright, yep, I get it, thank you. I don't think there's anything further south. Let's check just to be sure. Nope, can't go around here. Although we do get a little preview of that item ball. And there is something really cool in this route. Whoops. Is it this guy? Oh, what you're holding is what they call a Pokedex. Haven't seen one of those in ages. My name is Balba. I used to run a safari zone in Fuchsia City, but it was becoming out of date with the new entertainment options coming out. I decided to go overseas to learn the newest technology and open a state-of-the-art safari zone in Cianwood. It may be more than a coincidence that we are chatting. Why don't we register each other's numbers? Sure. So that's really cool. The original Gold and Silver do not have a safari zone. Even if you go to the one in Kanto, it's actually all closed up, because these games take place 3 years later, chronologically. And you'll see that more once we get back to the Kanto region. Kind of a spoiler I was trying to hide, but it's kind of hard to. You do actually get to go back and visit Kanto a little later on. So that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, I like that he went overseas to learn different technologies. I think that's kind of reminiscent of some of the areas in Platinum and Pearl, which I think have some of like Safari Zone type areas, the Great Marsh, I think it's called. And this Safari Zone is definitely more advanced than the one he used to have going in Fuchsia City. Alright, let's put Cherry in the first spot, since Olive has unfortunately fainted. My milk tank ain't giving me milk anymore. This here farm's got famous milk. Most everyone wants to drink. It'll give me lots of milk if I feed it lots of berries, I reckon. Our milk even goes out to Kanto. So if our milk tank won't give us any milk, we're in trouble. Alright, so before you could get berries from trees, just like apricots in Generation 2. I think now, though, you have to get them from other means, like growing them. And unfortunately, I don't have too many berries to feed Miltank. But I actually totally forgot about that. There's a little mini side quest here. If you feed the Miltank enough, they will get better, and then you can start buying Moomoo milk here. I'm not sure which one is the sick Miltank. Maybe the one in the barn? Probably the one in the barn. Yes, I'm aware that we're using up our Max Repel steps, but I wanted to say hi to all the Miltank. Ooh, and there's an item down here. TM60 Drain Punch, that's pretty cool. Is Drain Punch a special move, though, or a physical move? Let's see. It is a physical move. And Rod is not with us. I might teach it to Rod, but I kind of like Brick Break better. So Drain Punch is nice in that it heals back half the damage it does. So that's really cool. Well, I'm surprised that Magmar can't learn Drain Punch, but Olive can. I don't want to teach it to Olive because Olive is not a physical attacker. And I'm pretty sure Magmar's evolved form, Magmortar can learn it, but Magmortar is also a special attacker. So if anything, I might teach it to Heracross. But I'm kind of leaning towards just sticking with Brick Break. One thing I do like that they changed in later generations is that TMs eventually no longer are one-time use. That was a really nice kind of stress-reducing change. took out a little bit of the strategy in that you could teach all your Pokemon a really good move, but it was always really annoying to have like one Earthquake TM or one Stone Edge TM, and that's all you could use it for. Right, let's go ahead and give an Oran Berry to Miltank. I wonder if it just takes Oran Berries. Oh, okay, it does, and we only had the one. So I will have to grow more then. So in the original Generation 2 games, the berries had really obvious names like Paralyzed Cure Berry and Poison Cure Berry. But in Generation 3 they upgraded it to make them a little more naturally sounding names. Oh, that's cool. There's a little door between the house and the barn. Didn't realize that before. Makes sense though, you don't have to go outside if it's raining or something. Just to take care of the animals. Alright, well I will do my best to restore your Miltank to well-being and get this farm up and running again. Until we can grow more berries though, we will just have to hold off on that. At least we did get some Moomoo milk from our Pokathlon training. So that should be enough to hold us over. That in combination with our fresh water. Two drinks that are very good for you, fresh water and Moomoo milk. It's good that Pokemon encourages healthy drinking. Of course it also encourages like lemonade and soda pop, but in my opinion kids should drink soda pop and lemonade too. Maybe not as much as water and milk, but as a treat, why not? It's part of being a kid. Kinda got lucky here in that this trainer has 2 Slowpoke, and we got unlucky in that our Razor Leaf missed. So Curse, you might notice, is doing something different now. That's because Curse is a very interesting move that has a different effect when used by a non-Ghost type. When a Ghost type uses it, it cuts your HP in half and puts the Curse effect on your enemy. When a non-Ghost type uses it, it reduces your speed, but increases your attack and special attack. So it can be really good for a slow but bulky Pokemon like Slowpoke or Slowbro. Or Snorlax is another good example. And if your Pokemon happens to have any moves that do more damage the slower it is, like Gyro Ball, that can be a good combo as well. It's a shame that a lot of the combos like that really don't do much anymore because they're not as instant, not as powerful as a lot of the newer combos and the newer Pokemon that have like instant abilities and Mega Evolutions and all that cool flashy stuff. So I kind of do miss some of the tricks back in the older generations. Alright, let's talk to Todd. It's Todd, how are you? My Psyduck is looking more and more like me. It's getting cuter. We just failed to beat an Abra by a tiny margin. How do you fail to beat an Abra? Don't they usually run away? And I'm not sure you would want your Psyduck to look like you. I know you wouldn't want you to look like Psyduck. How do I get to that item there? I'm really confused, because that's a cliff. Oh, I see. There it is. Rock climb. So I won't be able to get that item for a very long time. That's a really subtle thing to see. But apparently if you can get up there, up to that ledge, and then have rock climb to get down, you might need to get up there as well. You can get whatever that item is. So we'll come back and get that if we don't forget much, much, much later on. There it is. That's how you get up there. A very cool secret pathway. Let's face this Sailor, because Bayleaf is super effective against water types. Olivine is a port city, has a lighthouse, and is on the water. So we will be probably facing a lot of Sailors and other water type users in the near future. Which is good, because it's becoming time to start using Cherry more again, now that Rod and Olive are almost caught up. Unfortunately, we'll also be using our Magby for a while, which is not so good against water types, so that might be a little bit tougher. But we'll do our best. Alright, not quite a knockout. My only other attacking move is Natural Gift though, and I can only use that once, so let's stick with Razor Leaf. If we get up against like a flying type, then I'll use Natural Gift. It's actually a pretty good combo, Grass and Electric, because one of the types that Grass is not good against is Flying type, whereas Electric is, so it's pretty good coverage. Unfortunately, both are not very effective against other Grass types, so It's not perfect coverage. Not by a long shot. Okay, marching along. What does this guy have in his team? Is it okay to brag about my Pokemon? I guess so. What cool Pokemon do you have? Pokefan Derek. Pikachu. Yeah, not that big of a fan. I mean, everybody has to like Pikachu because it's the mascot, but as far as gameplay goes, it's just not that great of a Pokemon. Maybe the starter Pikachu in Pokemon Let's Go is, because it has some special moves and higher stats than other Pikachu, but in the real games, I would definitely recommend evolving it into Raichu eventually. And even then, Raichu's, it's an okay Pokemon, but it's nothing to write home about. Alright, fine. And I'm guessing this is another Pokefan here. And then we should be just about ready to reach Olivine City. Get to explore that just a little bit before we head back to Ecruteak and face the Kimono Girls. Quick attack. Once we're out of this battle too, I'll check on our Magby eggs. I was really hoping to evolve it, but I guess I should have got it a little bit closer to hatching. I was thinking we would be doing more walking here than we actually did. We didn't really walk that much. A lot of battling, which is fun too. Even with Magmar's flame body. Oh, sounds can be heard coming from inside. I feel like there might still be one more stage. There's like one that one more stage, one that says it's really close to hatching. I guess I'm wrong. Okay, happily so. That's good because I really didn't want to spend like the last 2 minutes just riding around on my bike getting this egg to hatch. There he is, Magby! Yes, I would. Magby is a boy. Okay, good, because the name sounds a little more like a boy's name in my opinion. I guess it could be a girl's name too. It was likely though, because like I said, 75% of Magby and Magmar and Magmortar are male. We are going to name our Magby Cian, or Cyan, after Cianwood City. Or Cyanwood City. I think it's Cianwood City. I'll have to double check on that. But regardless, that will be the name of our Magby. Cianwood is the city that's to the east of Ecruteak. And I don't think there's anything stopping us from going there right now, but there are plot things that would prevent us from really doing much once we get there. So, like, interesting things don't start happening in Ecruteak until a little later on in the game. So let's just check our town map, see where we are. That's the radio. That's the town map, okay. So as you can see, we started over here, came around this way, did our first gym badge here in Violet, made our way down through Union Cave to Azalea Town, where we got our second badge, then up to Goldenrod, got our third badge, through the National Park, here we are in Ecruteak. So we'll be coming down this way to get our 5th and 6th badge from these two cities. There's the Safari Zone, which is a brand new addition to the Gen 4 games. There's some new routes here that were added as well on the way to the Safari Zone, so we'll definitely check those out. So we basically have to do kind of the plot around here, which centers around getting those 2 badges, and a couple little things as well. And then we'll come back here and continue on and get our 7th badge. Oh, interesting, it shows you where one of the legendary beasts are. I'm not sure we can catch it yet, even if we encountered one. We don't really have anything that would prevent it from running away. I'm looking at the little town map there. I was thinking it was like the locations of the 3 dogs, but I don't think those are dogs. Those are the buildings. So I think the red is the Pokemon Center, and the blue is the Pokemart. That's really cool. And the gray must be the gym. I don't know if I've ever noticed that before. If I do, I don't remember it. That's really cool. There's a little map of each city inside the town map. It really is a town map. Huh. Alright. Anyway, speaking of cities, I'll come back and get that item later. Ooh, a nice little welcome banner there. Here we are in Olivine City. He likes my Pokegear, good for him. Oh, tell me this is not a rival battle. You again? There's no need to be alert. I don't bother with wimps like you. Speaking of weaklings, the city's gym leader isn't here, and is supposedly taking care of a sick Pokemon at the lighthouse. Boo-hoo. Just let sick Pokemon go. A Pokemon that can't battle is worthless. Why don't you go train at the lighthouse? Who knows? It may make you a bit of a better trainer. Alright, so I'm actually really relieved that he didn't battle us there. Not that I don't think we could have beaten him, we probably could have, but we just had a battle against him, and I would have had to use Haunter and Graveler. which would have gotten them a lot of XP that I don't really want to use on them. I'd rather save it for other Pokemon. So as he said, the gym leader here is not home. She is at the lighthouse. Jasmine, the gym leader, she's at the lighthouse. She's been tending to a sick Pokemon. A strong trainer is compassionate at the same time. Very good advice. So this will be the gym we'll be coming back to. I know in Gen 2 she actually didn't have any gym trainers. I feel like maybe in this generation they gave her a few. I hope they do. But I guess in a way the lighthouse trainers kind of take the place of her gym trainers, even though they don't really use steel types like she does. I guess we'll find out though. But we will not find out right now. So here's the plan. I am going to train up our Magby, little C in here, by quite a bit. Maybe get him to around level like 20 or so we could actually involve him in some battles. Quirky nature. I'm not sure about this, but I feel like Quirky is one of those neutral natures. It sounds like it wouldn't be, but I think it is. And if it is, then I'm definitely okay with that. Equal stats all across the board. Only no Smog and Leer. So I definitely want to get him like Ember or something before I even start to use him. But I will do some more training with him tonight and switch out Rod again, get back to our more normal team. Maybe even drop like Magmar back off in the daycare or somebody else in the daycare. And when we come back, we will be back in Ecruteak facing the Kimono Girls for some really cool battles, some great XP, and a really cool reward. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.